Welcome back, and we're at the end of the book, Chap Suey, by Andrew Ko. So I'm very happy that we're at the last two chapters. Yay! Okay. All right, so let's talk about Chinese food. And hasn't this book been the funnest book ever? I mean, it's so fun, right? Who doesn't love Chinese food, and who doesn't love talking about Chinese food? Arguably, this is a kind of unusual book because it's kind of talking about, one could argue, American food, right? All right, so before we start, we're going to watch a video from the Pong brothers, and we're going to watch a video on, let's see, dim sum, which is a food video.
Teach me about dim sum. Okay, but afterwards we gotta get some yum chai tea. You gotta sip some, help you digest, and it'll also make you live long. Who's not in love with these little ass dishes? And it can get cheap if everyone chips in. Pork, shrimp, duck, a little bit of chicken, and now I gotta fix it for this Chinese tradition. From Guangdong to Hong Kong, down to LA, New York to Seattle, we just love it in the States. Steam, fried, and they even make them bake. Yeah, lady with the car, go and put it on my plate. Hey, soy sauce, hot sauce, get the vinegar out, but watch out, don't splatter all over your blouse. And you ain't gotta wait till Sunday afternoon to get some authentic Cantonese food. Yeah, I really want some. Can you give me dim sum? I really want some. Can you give me dim sum? I really want some. Can you give me dim sum? Yeah, I got it all, baby, come and get some. It'll make you go boom, boom, boom. It'll make you go boom, boom, boom. It'll make you go boom, boom, boom. Hey, yeah, I really want that dim sum. It'll make you go boom, boom, boom. It'll make you go boom, boom, boom. It'll make you go boom, boom, boom. Hey, yeah, I really want that dim sum. I said English, hey, where you get your dim sum? Okay, man, I get it off the big truck. It's so bomb that you better go and get some char siu bao. That's barbecue pork butt, lotus leaf, sticky rice, egg tart, so right. Hot out, sesame balls, and that siu mai. We even got that chicken salad. Check us on Yo, we don't settle for average now. Ladies can't help but to stare at the ride. Yeah, I know that we Asians, but we know how to drive. And we don't parallel park, we pull up to the curb. You got a few dollars, then you can get served. Everyone love it, yeah, everyone love it. They followed us on Twitter, now everyone's coming. White people, black people, even the vatos. Everyone trying to get our Peking duck tacos. I really want some, can you give me dim sum? I really want some, can you give me dim sum? I really want some, can you give me dim sum? Yeah, I got it all, baby, come and get some. It'll make you go boom, boom, boom. It'll make you go boom, boom, boom. It'll make you go boom, boom, boom. Hey, yeah, I really want that dim sum. It'll make you go boom, boom, boom. It'll make you go boom, boom, boom. It'll make you go boom, boom, boom. Hey, yeah, I really want that dim sum. Yeah, now stop frontin', we got dumplings, so you love something. We pulled up to the parking lot, now the party's jumping. Open the doors now we see the people running. Coming to the truck, and Los Angeles is hungry. It ain't hard to reach, find us on Venice Beach. Maybe Hollywood, the quality is good. A little sweet saltiness does the body good. Shoot, we might even be in Inglewood. Did some truck be around downtown? Did some truck be around downtown? Did some truck be around downtown? Did some truck be around downtown?
So you know what I'm talking about when dim sum song by Pong brothers. I know a lot of you who are watching this probably have like all these industrial family memories of going to have dim sum with your family, like I do, and I basically programmed my 2 kids, and I told them, once I hit 75, even if I can't walk, every 2 months, take me to dim sum every 2 months. So actually, I've programmed them since they're age 4, so they know that is their social obligation to take me to dim sum every 2 months when I'm elderly, right? That would be like, make me like super happy. All right, guys. So chapter 6, it starts off with this like really strange story, okay, about this girl. Her name is Ellie Siegel, and she's this Anglo woman that just loves Chinese men, okay? Her father's not into this. He like kind of like doesn't let these Chinese men come into their house. Her mother was actually this Chinese missionary who was like went to China, tried to convert Chinese people. That's always been unsuccessful. I have met some Chinese people who are Christians, but they tend to be from Taiwan, right? But I've never met anyone from mainland China who was actually Christian, so it's very unusual. Anyway, so she had 2 suitors that are Chinese. I have to say the author did a good job on describing her external looks. He said that she was overweight, but pleasant, a pleasantly plump person. Very tiny eyes, but a flat nose. So it's very funny. Ladies, read that if you would like to be described this way. He said, patently unpleasant looking, but a soft demeanor. Okay, so I was like, oh, the author, what do you... But anyway, I guess kind of a interesting... Another way, she's not, okay. So anyway, she has these 2 Chinese suitors. One is Leon Ling. He's the ex-manager of this Washington Chop Suey restaurant who has this like violent streak. And another is Chu Gan. Now, her mom prefers one of them, and she actually prefers another. And she was having an affair with one of them, and then something happened where she switched off and she went to the other person. And I want you guys to open up your page 162 right now. If you can look it up. Something happens. If anyone's a Mentalist fan, you know what happens next, right? That's right. So Elsie Siegel actually turns up dead, right? She turns up dead, and they find her in a box. They find this girl wrapped but very decomposed, and they don't know who killed her. And so this huge backlash towards Chinese. All Chinese were viewed as murderers, and unusually enough, Chinese restaurants were connected to white slavery, right? Which is very unusual, but yes. So chop suey restaurants are connected to white slavery. So very interesting. It's so interesting how Chinese food becomes like exotic, erotic, disgusting, then wonderful and kind of hipster cool, and now it's becoming Chinese food is associated with white slavery. Okay, interesting. Okay, so anyway, also there's a lot of anti-Chinese sentiment during this time, and they interview a lot of these Chinese people, and they never really found the murder of this Elsie Siegel, but a lot of anti-Chinese sentiment was abound, and if you were a Chinese person and you wore Western clothes and you're a male, you would be rounded in, and of course the techniques of the police back then were not what we have now. All right, so during this time also, Chinese cookbooks are written. They're actually written for the American Anglo housewife, right? So now American women can make their own chop suey, right? Or egg foo young or poo-poo platter, right? So it becomes like, you can see the evolution of Chinese food. It's disgusting, then it's like delicious, and then it becomes exotic, like cool, like hipster thing. And then it becomes linked with white slavery Chinese food. And now it's becoming exotic to mundane, right? Because all the housewives are cooking it, right? So, well, it's not that exotic if all the housewives are cooking it, right? So again, so all the 1916 chop sueys, they lumped together. And actually there was an article in some American like journal magazine, and they're talking about chop suey, and they referred to it as an American dish, right? So it's really becomes American, which you can really make a good argument that it's American dish. All right, so pretty interesting. All right, so now this you're not going to find in any part of China, and it is the legend of the orange chicken. So a lot of times I'll have these students, they'll come up to me and they'll say, I love that orange chicken. And I'll internally, and I think anyone who is knows anything about food or Chinese food in particular, or if they're Chinese, they're like, there is no such thing as orange chicken in Chinese food. So let's look at the legend of orange chicken that wasn't invented here in America. So one could argue is another American fare dish, and by the Fung brothers.
Man, I'm hungry. Where's Mike at?
Yeah.
Hey, wait.
That's mine. Dude, what is this stuff, man? We wanted Chinese food, not this Americanized crap.
Well, you shouldn't have sent me, to go get it. I'm white.
Oh my gosh, is this orange chicken? This is so tasty.
I am ashamed of how much I'm liking this right now. I kind of feel like I'm betraying my heritage.
Mike, where does orange chicken come from?
I don't know. Came from the Orient. Look, I don't know, okay?
You don't know. But as Asians,
It's our duty to find out. Mom,
where does orange chicken come from?
is it a variation on an ancient dish?
Did we create it just to cater to Americans?
We gotta know, our pride is at stake.
Okay, calm down. I thought you guys never ask. Actually, there is a story about this. It begins in 1972. When a man named Pong opened a Chinese restaurant, business was good until a McDonald's opened up across the street. He had to think of something profitable or else his business was going to fail. So Pong and his son went to work.
Everybody love a Big Mac. Everybody love a Big Mac. I got it. Big Mac! Chinese Big Mac! Everybody love filet of beef. I got it! McDonald's don't give you filet of fish. I give you whole fish. Hiya!
Dad, tired.
No, you're lazy. What? Okay, you want me to dip for you? You're so lazy, huh? Okay, I dip for you. I dip for everyone.
Thirsty, Dad?
Pre-dip, sweet and sour, fruit carbonated, high fructose syrup, soda, fusion, mixed
Dad.
together.
Orange chicken.
Yeah, orange chicken, that's what I said, okay?
Well, that's the story. 1 month later, Pong sold the recipe to Panda Express for $500.
So it's just chicken McNuggets.
I had no idea.
The world is a big place. There's a lot of things you two don't know about. Okay, don't bother me. I have to cook now. Go. 走了。
Wow. Another origin story. True? I don't know, but I'll believe it. All right, so all I know is there's no orange chicken in all of China. So if you ask for orange chicken in China, they'll be like, what? Okay. First of all, Chinese food, if you've been to China, has bones in it, right? All of Chinese food has actual bones in it. So it's really interesting. It's real Chinese food looks like the animal it came from. Kind of American food, it's very interesting. They really want to take the animal out of it. It's always like changed in this different form, kind of like repackaged where you can't really recognize like what animal. But you go to any Chinese place in Shanghai, you'll see like a bunch of bones next to the plate because yeah, they ate it with a lot of bones, and I think Americans are scandalized. But hey. All right, so Chinese, that is actually chapter 6, right? And it talks about how this Chinese food becomes like scandalized. It goes exotic, erotic, then hipster, then exotic, then mundane, and then it was linked to white slavery. Okay, I don't know, but yes, and so and then in 1916 it just becomes American. Okay, and again, no one has ever heard of chop suey in China, so that would be weird if you were to say that. All right, so chapter 7, the last chapter. Okay. So what happened, right? Chinese food was very, very popular, right? And it was like very, very popular, and then it actually started diving. It wasn't becoming popular anymore because the American housewife was making it, and home became like very mundane. So a lot of Chinese restaurants did all these different things to like be popular, right? So they had these things where neon restaurants, like neon lights, right? So Chinese restaurant would have a neon light outside, or a Chinese restaurant, I'd say Chinese American restaurant, I really should qualify that. Or Chinese restaurants located in America for American people, okay, had like certain things. They adapted it they made the food like more gooey, more salty, more oily, more meaty, okay. And if you like that, that's kind of just another form of American food, okay. One of my students said, I had a guest speaker once, and asked my students like, why does it taste so good? And my guest speaker, who's a Chinese food expert, said, well, it's just, you're just eating a lot of salt and oil. If you think that's good, then okay. All right, so there's actually some major strengths of Chinese food, and that's why it has stuck around for so long. It's like kind of grown and evolved with American history. One, it's cheap. It's for cheaps, right? You can have a whole wedding, actually, and it like kind of cater from Panda Express for like $100, right? So something about Chinese food, it's cheap, right? And so you can feed like a lot of people. I've actually gone to like, I've gone to 3 weddings, like shotgun weddings, where the food was Chinese food. It was like a buffet, and they actually were not Chinese. Actually, they were just I think they were Anglo. And then yes, one was Anglo, one was Mexican, and their food decor was Chinese food, and it actually was really cheap. You could buy that big tub for $30, and it was like 100 people were fed and it was delicious. All right, so you have this historical evolution, like the neon signs. They try to get Chinese tries to get you in there to purchase food. You have you can buy a complete meal for $1.85, right? So you had those evolutions. You had the column food, and so it's really interesting. This is totally made in America because you go to these restaurants, like, do you want to pick A or B, right? It's like none of this is ever in China, so it's like, what is this? Oh, A, you have an egg roll, and it's $8. Okay, B, you get a drink, it's $9, right? So that's totally invented in America, so pretty interesting. All right, but it's dying. Chinese food is like dying. In the 1960s, it becomes American. It's like mundane. It's dying, right? So why is it we now have more Chinese restaurants than McDonald's in America, right? So something occurred, right? Well, dum dum dum. All Chinese people know this in China, actually. Someone visits China. That's right. The ping pong champion, not ping pong champion, but the ping pong kind of, I don't call it ping pong gate, but President Nixon goes to China. He eats Chinese food with a chopstick, and he attends a ping pong tournament that explodes ping pong. Yes, actually, in America, actually begins this ping pong popularity. It's true, yes. And also the Chinese food, right, it's going down in the 1960s, becomes hugely popular again. Okay, so from Nixon, right? Well, who knew? This like ping pong match that he goes to like could totally revolutionize America. Okay, so these dying off Chinese foods. Well, we enter this guy who's this family of immigrants from China, mainland China, that move into Pasadena, California. And, you know, they're educated, they have grad degrees, and they're like, oh, I'm going to open a high-scale, upscale restaurant in Pasadena. Still there, you should go there, right? If you write your paper on Panda Express. And he actually opens a high-scale, upscale Chinese restaurant called the Panda Inn, right? Years later, it was like pretty successful. It's still here. If you want to go to travel to Panda Inn right now, go today. I'm writing a book chapter on Panda Inn, so I will have to go there for field work. That's true. My life is hard, yes. I have to go and try the food. Anyway, I'm going, so then after they open more restaurants, and at this point, there's thousands upon thousands of restaurants called Panda Express. Mentally, has anyone not heard of Panda Express? Of course, no one in China has heard of Panda Express, okay? But everyone in America has heard of Panda Express. It's at every single college dorm. At Cal Poly, we have a Panda Express. LAX. Everyone and their mother has seen a Panda Express. And that actually revolutionizes Chinese food, right? They have the beef and broccoli. They have the orange chicken. These items that are not seen in Asia at all. So let's actually watch this. And again, this completely starts a new revolution. And let's watch the Panda Express people.
I think everyone is allowed to dream. I think thinking outside the box has really freed yourself from the limitation that you might not be good enough to be able to accomplish more. That has really helped us accelerate our businesses and accelerate our thinking. Today we're about almost 500 stores, and we employ about 6,000 people. This year we're growing at approximately 2 stores a week. So we will open about 100 stores this year, and we're going to be doing approximately almost $400 million in sales.
Andrew has nurtured big dreams for the company. His goal is to have 10,000 stores in his lifetime.
I believe people like to have challenging ideas. However, the challenging ideas has to have substance. I think that when you set your sight up high, one thing for sure happens, even if you don't get there, you do really, really well.
Andrew's business partner is his wife, Peggy, who joined the company when their fast food empire was just one single restaurant. It's with her help that their goals will be accomplished.
I was educated as an engineer, and then so when I first joined the company, I would take over all the administrative work, and then I focus on you automate all the process, and also focus on people side of the business, making sure that we have good program for people from the training perspective, from the development perspective, and I'll motivate them.
She's a tremendous help. She does the difficult things that I don't like to do. I think without her, maybe I'll make a lot of money, but I'll lose it all in somewhere else, She tightens everything up for me, and also she is the mother figure for our business. And I'm probably the visionary and the disciplinarian, and she provides a lot of love. And there's a good balance here, and I think that's why it worked so well for so long.
What also has worked is their persistence, learning from their mistakes and staying focused on the customer's needs. But it's not an easy task.
I think the hardest thing is probably the personal struggle. When you start running one restaurant, and then you grow to a second restaurant, and the third restaurant, you say, well, I'm on top of the world, I can do this, this is easy, okay? However, I think when you grow to 20, 30, 40, 50 restaurants, my God, I mean, it's like climbing up this the mountain, and there's no place that you can hang on. And it's a scary feeling. You don't really know where you are. You don't really know whether you're doing it right or not. Or am I capable of doing this? Why am I here? And so there's a lot of personal doubt to overcome. And I think along with personal doubt, you need to stay with it. I think that's the biggest challenge.
However, their initial growth spurt from 5 to 9 stores tested their endurance.
In percentage-wise, 5 to 9 appear to be harder because you actually grow 200%. So when we grow 75 stores as a company-owned store, basing on 350 stores you have, in the percentage-wise, easier. But key issue is how you're able to make sure the consistency there, because you cannot be everywhere, and then you rely on your people to do things. So in that area, you need to have a system process and making sure every single one of them understands standards, Panda standards.
We have 10 regional directors, and underneath them they each have 5 or 6 area managers. And so when you split that out, everyone is only to open, every regional manager is opening a couple of stores in the next year, this year. So we have quite a bit of room that I think we can grow into, from a speed of operation. I think the difficulty is how do you secure good sites so you don't, grow for the sake of growth. And we are learning also about that.
The Churns told us that franchising is a possibility for the future, but first they're committed to strengthening their infrastructure and systems before opening the doors to others.
In our business, for me, making money is not the most important thing. I think do the right job and think big and do it well, and having people that's really having fun and really challenged, and that's been a blast.
Right, so that is it. And of course, if you've eaten other Chinese places, you know of this restaurant called Pickup Sticks or P.F. Chang's. Those are hugely popular. And great, that's it. It's so fascinating, right? This whole Chinese food evolution and how Americans have sort of interpreted and reinterpreted and just continued on. And in terms of Panda Express actually is opening up a restaurant in China. That is right, and the Chinese people are gonna, I'm curious if they just view it as just American food, because those items are just not in China, so I'm kind of curious. So that's the next book for you to write, and so that is it. That is the course. Thank you so much for taking this class, and give yourself a hand of applause. You made it through. So that's great, and please give me feedback, what I can improve upon. I'd be very happy to know, and I hope you enjoyed the class. Thank you.